right now.
Morning to you. 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. You got to talk into the microphone.
He hasn't started talking yet.
Yeah.
Check.
He was probably ready to do it.
Travis Riggin is here. He gave me he gave me the entertainment. He gave me the lineup for what's going on at Trek Fest. I see nothing in here that about monkeys. You don't have any monkeys.
Were they supposed to have monkeys?
Just trebles.
But no monkeys.
Just tribbles.
No, I don't know that they were supposed. Monkeys are very entertaining.
Yeah,
you might think of that.
There might be a few. You just never know what you'll see down there. At
Dog might stop by. I don't know. It's close.
It's pretty close.
Yeah, it's right
I
down
mean, we
Highway
do have
22.
a pet show that's pretty out of this world. You know, we've seen cows and miniature horses and pet pigs and roosters and snakes and turtles and all different kinds of stuff. So
monkeys know how to instinctively smoke cigarettes. Did you know that? Yeah.
That was the topic of discussion before we went on the air.
that is pretty
He's got
neat.
monkeys on the mind today.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. No, you got a great entertainment lineup.
Yeah, I'm looking here. I'm like, I know that band. I know that artist. I know that artist. Yeah. I like when I know the artist. We've had 3 of these on the show, maybe 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We've had Dave Zolo. We've had Molly Shannon very recently. She was on Hawk Fanatic, remember? She's on the rowing team.
Mm-hmm.
Jake McVeigh's played in here a few times. I may have had the Trophy Dads. I cannot remember if we had them or not.
So they're out of Solon.
Okay.
They play like 2000s, late 90s, like grunge, like
they've
rock.
played events we've promoted before. So I can't remember if they came in to do that personally or we just talked about them. But I think they've been in here.
I believe they've done Fry Fest and they've done Solon Beef Days and
Right.
they've let's see here.
They opened for somebody recently that was pretty big, didn't they?
They've opened for the Pork Tornadoes.
That's what I'm thinking of.
And they've also opened for Tyler Richardson, or not Tyler Richardson, sorry, Not Quite Brothers.
No, it's a great lineup. Dave Zolo's a great guy, too.
Oh, and he's such a pleasure to work with, too.
The nicest guy. Yeah. Well, you got a lot of stuff. It all starts Thursday, the 26th, when your beer tent opens.
Yeah, so, I mean, our beer tent opens up.
Dog will be there.
Our liquor license and
it's
our
like the first thing on here.
beer license takes place that day anyway, so we decided that we might as well open it up, and we've done this now the second year. We do a beer tasting with some local beers that we bring in through our beer tent. We have a signature glass that goes out. This year it's in the shape of a beer can with Back Pocket partnering it, and Chris Westfall being the sponsor on the glass there.
Is that the Chris Westfall used to be the athletic director at Regina?
I don't think so.
Okay, I was going to say maybe not.
No.
That would have been like 40 years ago. I don't think.
But yeah, so we'll have, I believe, 6 different beers on the tasting, and then they get the signature beer, which is a rice ale that Back Pocket put together for us. It's called Warp Core. It kind of looks like the nacelle on a ship, so that's really, really cool. Celebrating the 40th year of Trek Fest. So we have Dave Zola, like you said, and the Wonderful Smiths, who are out of Cedar Rapids and Riverside area, actually. Both. The drummer is my neighbor, so...
Now, this show is unlike the actual Smiths. This show will start on time. There's no Morrissey.
Yeah, so
This won't start like 2 hours later.
I had to ask him where the Wonderful Smiths name came from, and they said it was about some guy that was working the door security-wise. And,
oh, okay.
Yeah, he went by Wonderful Smith, so, yeah. Kind of neat
That's
fact
a bit.
there.
I did not know much about them. I still don't, but I know you
They're a
told me more.
bluesy, kind of original rock band that really has a good feel. They're going to blend really well with Dave Zolo, especially just, I mean, for the most part, they're all originals that are being played between the two bands right there. And, I mean, it is Dave Zolo just acoustically, but, I mean, even still, Dave Zolo is something to see.
Where'd you say the Wonderful Smiths were from again?
So the 3 of them are from Cedar Rapids, and then one of them is from Riverside, actually my neighbor. So.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep. So
they're local, yeah.
Yep.
Good,
Very much so local, and most of our bands are local in that nature. So.
Yeah, like for example, we go into the Friday night show. Molly Shannon, we just had her on Hawk Fanatic. Like I said, she's on the rowing team, but she's been doing all these great performances around there. I've yet to see her live personally. I'd like to at some point. Looks like this will be my chance. She's going to be there the first act, right? Playing on Saturday?
Friday night.
Friday
yeah.
night.
So
Sorry, Friday.
She'll play for 3 hours on Friday night, opening up for the boys that are from the Oskaloosa area. They play country music, but Molly Shannon plays a little bit about everything. She has played a lot at El Rey's and bars downtown Iowa City area here.
Club
She's
76,
really,
I think she was at
she
the other
is
day.
really good.
Yeah, she's really, really solid, and you can pretty much, I mean, for the most part, if you have a song request, you can toss it up to her, and she's pretty flexible when it comes to working the lyrics out and putting the notes up there on her phone, and then she can play through it for the most part. So
For a current college student, she knows old music really well.
yeah,
She's done her homework on that.
and so Friday we also have our first time doing some of these panels. We have a panel that's being done by 4 professors from different universities. One is the University of DePaul, University of Arkansas, University of Indiana State, or Indiana State University, and then we have a community college in there as well. I believe it's like Mercer Community College. But they're putting together a fan panel about how Trek kind of converts into modern day society a bit. And so that's an hour panel. And then we have another one by a 1 episode Star Trek celebrity that does a bunch of indie films on his own out of St. Louis area. And then we have a paid one with Lolita Faggio. That's a writer's workshop and Q&A session. So if anybody has any scripts or anything like that, she has been a part of several episodes of the writing portion of it. And then she is a booking agent for, I believe, over like 24 Star Trek celebrities. So,
Oh, cool.
yeah.
Yeah, what I'm liking is I remember as a little kid, I'm going way back now before you were born, but Trek Fest was kind of like it was a small town festival. I mean,
Right.
the Trek was kind of in the name only, but it seems like in the last 10 or 20 years, you've really embraced the Trekness of it. And maybe that's because there's so many new shows and movies and stuff coming out now, and I don't know, but I mean, it's great to like bring the Trek back to Trek Fest, really.
Yeah, like when it first started, looking back at some of the history of the Trek Fest event, it was like, oh, we claim Trek Fest and we claim to be the future birthplace of Captain James T. Kirk, but we never actually fully embraced it. We said it,
Yeah,
people showed up, and then it was like, where's the Trek? You got cowpipe bingo, you got a demo derby, you got a mud run, you got this, that, the other. And then, the ship was built by, several different tradesmen in the local Riverside area, and the ship's still being used to this day, which hopefully we're going to get that renovation underway after this Trek Fest and get jump-started on building a new ship, because that ship has definitely seen some battle scenes. The Klingons, the Romulans, the Borg, they've had their way with that ship. But, yeah, I mean, ever since taking this over in 2021, that's been the big thing for me, is bring in high-quality bands from the local area, as well as embrace the Trek in a way that the Trek kind of fits seamlessly throughout our town, to bring those people in and cater to them, but also still cater to the local Riverside and surrounding areas that aren't into the Trek. So that way they know there's good quality entertainment that's free to come check out.
Yeah, just go down and see Dave Zolo, Molly Shannon, whoever, just go see a band.
Yeah,
Have some fun.
exactly. I mean,
Beer tent, people love beer tents.
if you want to get out of the crowd and get out of the hustle bustle of Iowa City or Cedar Rapids or any of those surrounding areas for the day, and the block party's not your thing, come down to Riverside. We'd love to have you. But yeah, I mean, another awesome thing that doesn't get much attention to it is our stargazing event. I've actually never had the opportunity to go out to it, but there's usually about 30 people that go out there, and we have the Cedar Corridor, I believe, Astronomers Club that puts that on, and it's behind the elementary school, and they see all different kinds of planets, and if the sky is cloudy, he has a TV set up there, and so he goes through different pictures that he's taken with his telescopes and stuff like that. So that's kind of an out-of-this-world event, if you get the pun there.
No
So.
pun intended.
No pun
No
intended.
pun maybe.
You got
it
a
was
lot
intended.
of food there, too.
Yeah, so this year we have a grilled cheese food truck, not Marco's, which Marco's is really good as well, but it's called That's So Cheesy out of
good
Cedar
name.
Rapids.
Yeah.
And then we have another one called Bear's Fire Grill, and they do like signature nacho dishes. And then we have a couple signature popcorn, cotton candy, a like Iowa State Fair like style food truck with pretty much all fried food. So like deep fat fried Oreos and cheesecake and butter and all different kinds of stuff, funnel cakes. And then we have the local ball field that's doing their fundraiser
Fried
as well.
butter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can't believe it's not butter.
So I want to get back to the stargazing thing that you had mentioned. So I mean, I assume they like turn all the lights off so you can see everything out there, and it's kind of out away from the city lights and stuff where you get a good view.
Yeah, so the elementary school, they cut the power on the backside of the building there when it comes to like their floodlights and security lights for the evening. And they set up out there. It starts at about 9 o'clock. And then as people walk in, you're greeted. And then they cut the lights that they have by their little like table. And then, you're able to see the lightning bugs. You're able to see everything that you usually don't see in the big city kind of thing. If you're trying to look at
Yeah, 'cause
stars,
I live here, you know.
and so our school hubs up next to a field. So I mean, it's literally just dark out there. And a lot of people, it's their favorite event that they come to throughout the weekend. Especially, I mean, if the bands might not be their thing, it's too loud. You know, this trek isn't their thing. But I mean, there's a lot of fun things with that that take place there. So.
And you don't have to know the constellations and all that stuff.
No, they.
'Cause I would be like, "Where? I don't see the horse. What are you talking about?" But if somebody's there, like, show it to me, I can go, "Oh, that's kind of cool. That's that planet. Okay, that's."
Yeah, Wendell is very, very educational and informative when the people are asking questions and stuff like that about it. Usually the event goes for about an hour and a half, so people kind of filter in. The one thing that I will say is, I mean, like, make sure your phone has enough battery so that way you can turn your flashlight on when walking back there if you don't like get out there when the lights are still on to find your way there, so that way you can find your way around the backside of the school. It's on the west end with the pavement that goes all the way around the side of it, so that's a really cool event. And then we also have John Paladin that's going to be there too, a fan makeup artist that puts together if you want to be a Spock, if you want to be a Borg, if you want to be a Quark, whatever your fixins be.
Have paint will travel.
Yeah, no, he brings it all. So as long as you let him know what you're into. We had one person last year who actually 2 years ago dressed up as Quark and took him 2 hours to get into the makeup portion of it, and they started at 6 a.m. So
yeah, it's not just painting your face green. Quark's some work.
Yeah, Quark is some work.
Some work there,
yeah. But no, super, super cool opportunity there. And then we have the breakfast, and we're bringing back the 1 and 5K. Actually, it's 4.69K from the start to finish line. But we're just going to round up for the sake that be.
Beach volleyball tournament.
Yep, we have a sand volleyball tournament as well in the local area. You just have to be over 16 and sign a waiver form for that. We have registration currently going on our site for that, and you can reach out to our organizer. We also have a scale model show, which that's going to take place in the park this year rather than the VFW. The scale models, they're not like a bikini contest or anything like that. It's people that are put hobbyists to stuff together, and they put together Star Trek Enterprise. They might put like the Bird of Prey. They might put, you know, a Lego picture together of Tommy Lang and Steve on the.
What about Hunter?
Yeah, Jim
what
Hunter.
about Hunter?
Yeah, where is he today? Usually I see him.
He had surgery yesterday.
He'll be back tomorrow.
He'll be back tomorrow. He had a heart ablation.
Oh,
yeah.
They go in there and zap it.
Oh,
yeah. I've had one.
Like phased it.
Yeah.
Phaser set to fun.
Yeah, it's like a little phase they put in your chest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They shoot it there.
They go up through your groin.
Oh, ooh,
Yeah.
ooh,
Yeah.
ooh.
Yeah.
Well,
He will be sitting on a mound of ice tomorrow.
you guys getting him one of those
This
little,
chair.
like riding pillows or whatever for his little donuts that he can sit
Little
on.
donut.
But yeah, and we have, in my opinion, probably one of the best small town parades too. I mean, typically it goes for about an hour and 15 minutes. This year's Grand Marshals are going to be the directors and the owners, hopefully, of the casino. They've accepted that, and we're gonna, like, how do you want to say it? Really highlight all the amount of giving and volunteering that they have done in the local area since opening that, and as well as highlight their employee programs that they have out there.
Now, I see that there's fireworks coming up at dusk there as well, coming up on Saturday night. Now, how many of the events are because you mentioned the casino? Are there any events at the casino? I know in the past you've done like a couple things there, maybe, but I'm seeing the events here look like they're mostly in Riverside, like the main town.
Yeah, so we have really done a good job of keeping things in the park as much as possible this year. Hopefully, weather allows us to fully execute on that. So our model show isn't at the VFW. The pancake breakfast still is, but everything's in the park. So last year we actually, what one would say would probably be, we're above capacity on the fire station, the meeting hall area. We probably had about 300 people in there for the Q&A session.
Wow.
And so we had to think outside the box. And so we're going to do the Q&A session on the stage there. So that way everybody can be there next to the beer tent. And so it does take one band off the stage there for us, but I think it does bring all the Trek people to leave them in the park for as long as possible, supporting the community as well. So, yeah, everything is at the park there. The parade is on Main Drag there.
You have an event here, 1:15 on Friday. Wyatt Weed Trek that almost wasn't.
Yeah, so I haven't. That's the gentleman that was in the one episode of Star Star Trek, The Next Generation, as a security officer. Small indie film artist out of St. Louis area. He was actually cast as in Predator 2 as the boar.
Okay.
So he's got some accolades as well, and this is a documentary that he put together because funding wasn't supporting Star Trek nearly as much as it needed to get it up and off the ground originally, with all the different things that they would do during the original series. And so with his fandom of Trek, he's put together about an hour free panel that people can come and visit and see and check out at City Hall there. So like I said, the 3 panels that we have, really, really good ones. We have 2 free ones and then one that is paid, but it's something that I feel like we've needed to do, is to bring people from the Trek crowd into our town and community earlier, and how to get them to stay longer to help bring some funding and money to be spent within our community, whether that be at the Mexican restaurant, the coffee shop, coming down in the park area, spending money on beer, or just going and checking out the museum or different aspects like that. So
Very cool. You got anything else, Steve?
Yeah, and you know who was the biggest advocate for Star Trek, the original series? At first, they did a pilot. Jeffrey Hunter was Shatner's role. He was Kirk, and the networks didn't like it. And then Lucille Ball.
Yeah, it's a Desilu production.
Yeah,
I remember that in the credits at the end.
Yeah, Lucille Ball took it to all the networks, and finally NBC bid on it. But she was the one that pushed it and probably got it its 3 years. It did not have great ratings at first. On the network, it didn't have great ratings. And then cable was just coming into being, and WGN in Chicago put the series on at 7 o'clock weeknights and got, here's this cable station out of Chicago, and it's getting great
Channel 9
ratings.
used to carry it late at night. It was like a big deal for me on the weekend to stay up and watch it with Mom and Dad. Bowl of popcorn.
It got great ratings on GN.
How long has Trek Fest been around?
So this is our 40th year of organizing this event.
Because for a while, you were basically basing it on the one show that was on for 2 or 3 seasons? And then there was nothing else really. Oh, the movies, I guess, were coming out.
Yeah,
but then all of a sudden, you just had all these shows, and Next Generation comes out, and then Deep Space Nine, and then now you got shows left and right, and cartoons, and
H&I.
Trek has really grown.
Yeah, H&I carries it every night, 7.2. And again, that's the main ratings for H. They've got other shows and everything, but those are the main ratings for H&I.
The big thing that I will say is, so I am not a huge Trekkie, but I do understand the impact of Trek coming into our town for this event, and actually throughout the year. But they do 5-year segments, like a 5-year mission. Yeah. And so they do the 5 series. And so whether it be Next Generation, Star Trek Enterprise, which both of the celebrities, Dominic Keating and Connor Trinneer, are from Star Trek Enterprise, appearing in almost 100 episodes this year. So that are going to be at the event. So it's Malcolm is the one character, and then Trip is the other character. So super, super well-known characters in the Trek community. But like you said, there's also new stuff that's came out. It came out and it's kind of fizzled a little bit. But so they've had Star Trek Picard, they've had a Star Trek Discovery, they've had Star Trek Lower Decks, and
Picard did well.
Yeah, it was really critically acclaimed too.
Yeah, it was pretty well done. I think that I wish it was easier to kind of find other than just Paramount Plus, but that's how everything is anymore. These paid streaming networks that you have to kind of pay to play. But then they have had as well as Star Trek Strange New Worlds, which that right there gave us a flair for our town as well, because in that episode, Paul Wesley, the character of James T. Kirk, from an alternate timeline, like a lot of Star Trek episodes might possibly be. Yeah. But he gave credit for him and his brother, saying that they're from Riverside, Iowa.
Oh, cool.
So at the end of one of those episodes there, it was highlighted, and it was like, oh, we got another line.
Still there. Yeah.
We're still there, and they still
like in that
us.
one movie, when they rebooted the movie, there were scenes where they were building the is that where they built the Enterprise? Was Riverside, Iowa? Yeah.
So that's where our beer tent's name came from. So the 2009, 2008 movie was opening credits, roughly 12 minutes in. It's highlighted Iowa, and then there was a bar called the Riverside Shipyard.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then
That was a good movie.
Had a big fight in that bar.
It was a great thing for us. You know, it highlighted Riverside. We were there when the opening night was at the Sycamore Theater. They let us all travel
was that
in.
Before? That was after Shatner visited.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So we all were there. I think there was like probably 150 people, and right when that scene came on, everybody was just clapping and just all like hooting.
We were
hollering.
at that. Remember that we went there to that.
Yeah, it was.
We were
fun.
part of that screening with the people from Riverside.
Yeah.
So that was pretty neat to be able to take part in that as well. For me, I didn't understand when my parents were volunteering doing this at such a young age. For me, I just thought it was, you know, kind of dorky, nerdy, out of this world kind of thing. And then understanding
your
more.
parents are dorky.
That's a little bit. But like for me, it's just like I didn't understand what we had our grasp on for a town celebration that has a claim to this, rather than just being a fall festival or, you know, a random summer fest or fall fest
Right.
or. I mean, for
A
us,
lot of small towns have their own little festivals and stuff like that.
Right.
You got to set yourself apart, and you've done it.
And for us, you know, we see anywhere from 500 to 1,000 people from out of town. Last year we had 26 different states and 2 different countries present at our event. The furthest one being Europe that they were in visiting from, and they just happened to be going through on like a coast-to-coast thing, and they were looking at events that were going on when they're going, and they're like, oh, Trekfest is one that we have to stop at.
The thing is seen in over 100 countries.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, and still, in fact, it's new in Turkey. I just was reading something. I guess it started on Turkey Network, whatever their network is, last year, with the original Star Trek. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like some of the people that were there, you know, 2 of them from Seattle, Washington area that were there last year. When talking with them, I was like, oh, like, so are you big Star Trek fans? And they said that they just started getting into it. And I was like, oh, where are you starting at? They're like, the original series. And I'm like, oh, boy, like, that's one that I can't even dive into based on, like, the graphics and, you know, just, like, it's just, like, it's not up to date for me, you know. Yeah. But he's like, you know, we sit back, buddies. And
1966. So.
Yeah. So, but he said they sit back, buddies, all together, and they have a few drinks and watch a few episodes. And I'm like, well, more power to you.
When I was in college here, I mean, everybody would pile into the quadrangle because it had the biggest screen television, and the place would be packed Friday nights at 9 o'clock watching Star Trek.
Here's where, though, that original series loses me. In any episode where they go to a planet that's sort of based on current America, and they've got all the futuristic stuff, but then the TV cameras are like those 60s, I mean, which is what it was at the time, but you're in the future, and then the cameras like these 1960s giant TV cameras and stuff. Well, always just throws me off.
They're still watching cathode ray tubes and, you know.
Yeah, stuff.
But when you were originally watching it, was it black and white, Steve, or no?
It was a radio play.
It was color.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think they did any episodes in black and white, did they?
I don't believe they did.
You might not have had a black and white TV.
You have to hit the television on occasion. Because, seriously, I'm not making this up. The picture would shrink all of a sudden. And, you know, I mean, it would just shrink for some reason. It was still, and then you'd hit the side of the television, and it bounced back.
Just keeping the TV in line or something, huh?
Yes. I figured that everybody's going, hey!
So you were the TV hitter guy.
I went up there and slapped the damn thing, and I got applause.
Yeah.
My first taste of applause.
That'd be something to have on camera right there, slapping the TV.
Well, we look forward to it.
Yeah, thank you for coming in.
Yeah, no. Look forward to seeing you guys again next week and chatting a little bit more about some of the events we got going on. And if anybody likes cosplay as well, you know, we have a costume contest for Star Trek if you want to get into that spirited kind of thing as well. So,
is there a website somewhere people can go? Or
yeah,
Facebook page?
Facebook page, we are at Riverside Trekfest. And so we have, for all of our main events there, we have Facebook events specifically created for that.
Oh, okay.
As well as just one main giant one. And then our website is www.trekfest.org, where all the stuff can be found as well. So,
sounds good.
Perfect. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you,
appreciate you guys having me.
Mighty 1630.